Good morning, good morning.
So what are we doing this morning?
We're just talking about how I used to have a garden here and cover crops and veg. Good morning, y'all. We're out here at our family farm. Dad's here with me, and we thought we'd go look at the old garden site from back in high school days when I was doing a garden, did a CSA garden where I was growing all kinds of fruits and veggies for different families in town, and they'd get a basket of whatever was in season. And yeah, this was the spot. It was awesome. And I was wondering if Dad, if you would tell him some of the particulars of how the soil's changed after we managed it with some cover crops, and we did kind of the back to Eden method down there with all kinds of wood chips, and yeah, just what it looks like 3-4 years later. Let's look at it.
Let's walk over here. I want to show you kind of the boundaries. Benjamin wanted to do a garden, and he wanted to try CSA, so I wanted to help him and encourage him in that. He's a good hard worker, and I wanted to encourage working my kids. So we came out and we set up a boundary. We had cattle at the time, so cattle could get into the garden, and so I had to protect it. We put up 4 posts, and maybe you can see them. I don't know, the fog's kind of thick this morning, but here's one corner, and there's one down there, same kind of a post there. And then over at the base of these trees, there's some trees over this way. At the base of them, there's another one. And then there's another just down the row here a ways. It's hard to see in the fog, but there's 4. This is about a 1/4 acre that we marked off together. And it was just pasture, just like the rest of my land, and not anything special. In fact, it wasn't all that great soil. But Benjamin and I were learning all about Paul Gauchi and some of that stuff, and it sounded really fun and exciting. And we have a sawmill not too far from here, so I thought they were trying to get rid of all their wood chips, and so we said I talked to them, and they said we could have them, just pay for the haul bill, because we had, I don't know how many tons, we had 8 20,000 pound dumps of trucks. So 8, that's 160,000 pounds. That's a lot. What is it?
I didn't even know there was that much. I just knew we were getting wood chips. That's crazy.
Whew. I remember it was 8 because it was $800 for the haul bill. I remember that. $100 a load. Yep. Anyway, the chips were free. We put them in lo and behold, I learned later that what we got wasn't wood chips, and it makes a difference. It was bark. We got bark.
Yep.
And bark is different, and it's pretty. It's got a lot of tannin in it, or whatever it is. This stuff didn't do too well the first year, except sweet potatoes.
High carbon.
Sweet potatoes, for some reason, it was the first or the second year. They
actually
did fantastic.
I'll post a video. I mean, a picture. I've got a picture of the sweet potato harvest. I'll post it.
It was nuts. They went, and then they didn't do very well the year afterwards, but everything else started doing better. So it was you could tell soil changes, over time. So we brought all that in, put it in here, and I mean, we had about 8 or 10 inches of bark out here. And then we also in the fall we had what do you call it?
Let's keep walking down there while we're talking.
In the fall we had, around the fall holiday time, people put out decorations in their yards or around their businesses, and so we went around to all the local businesses and said, the bank and other places, can we have your shocks and your old hay bales and rotted pumpkins and mums and all that stuff when you're done? And they said, sure. We said, we'll clean it up for no fee, as long as we can just have the stuff. They're going to throw it away anyway. So we loaded the pickup full of all of that. We put that out on the garden, lots of that out here. Leaves, people gave away leaves. They bagged them up and everything. We just bring them home and scatter them. So all that went on the garden. And the first year, it wasn't all that great. You really couldn't even hardly grow anything in it because of the wood, the bark. But every year after that, it started getting better, and you could really see the difference. And now,
and we did cover crops. Did you mention that?
And we did cover. I forgot about that. Yeah. What all did we put on?
We did hairy vetch,
I remember vetch.
which is still growing here. We'll show them.
Yep.
And then winter wheat and winter rye.
Yeah. And that made a big difference.
And the vetch was the legume, so it was bringing in nitrogen, whereas the winter wheat and rye, they were covering the soil to prevent erosion, as well as bringing in some other nutrients.
So it was great. And you can really still see, especially when in the spring, the cattle, when we have the cattle here, they eat this first, and most. They love this area, and it's clear because they eat it shorter than anything else out there in the whole pasture.
And that spot down there, you're saying, is where we, not from here down, is where we did all the wood chips.
Yeah, between here and the dog.
And they really do love that area.
Oh, it's the favorite. And I don't have the same kind of weeds in here that I have in the rest of the pasture. The things that I really hate, these big tall stalks and all this kind of stuff, and this ironwood or iron weed, whatever it's called, I don't have that here. It's too rich for that stuff. Still, and it's been at least 6 years since we stopped doing the gardens. So it's probably been 11 years ago this went on here. But I just was showing you yesterday when we were walking through here. I was stunned at how lush and thick and different.
Yeah.
And even the different grasses that are in here that are not in the rest of the pasture. And we haven't put anything extra. It's just, this is right for those kinds of things that you want. And so it comes up. So I still see in here, there's some squash type plants or
squash.
These little decorative squash and decorative pumpkins.
Yeah, the little ones.
They keep coming up year after year after year, and it's been years since we put it down here, but it just keeps coming back. So this is just so fertile. Now some of the weeds are starting to come back that we don't really prefer, but it's been years, and there's not many though. Even then, like it still was so effective in bringing out the good stuff. We'd kept adding stuff on. Oh, this is, no kidding, Eden. It is back to Eden. It's great. And just putting stuff on top. We didn't till up anything. I didn't even put out any cardboard or anything to cover the weeds. We just piled so much on top that the weeds didn't come through. And it's
way to go.
It's a way to go.
I just had to go to college, so nobody was here to take care of
That's
stuff.
right. Oh, and I missed the gardens. Oh, you made such beautiful gardens. Plus, they were, the food was dynamite.
It was.
I wish I could get that back again. Anyway, I can hire you to come back home and work for me.
Maybe. And I remember I had a greenhouse right up there by the garage. And I remember I would stay out there hours and hours just working in the greenhouse.
So after dark.
Yeah.
We had to call you in. I would say, Benjamin, it's like 9 o'clock or later at night. I said, Benjamin, time to come in.
Yeah.
I'll be there just a minute. And you're out here or out there working
just
on
having
stuff.
fun. Having fun.
And I remember telling Mom, I say, well, he's having a good time.
Yeah.
Just leave him out there. If he gets hungry, he'll come in.
That's true.
But that was your food in a way. It was just you enjoyed.
One summer I basically lived off the garden. Everybody else was gone. I can't remember what was going on, but I was the only one home. And I lived off of eggs from my chickens and veggies.
And veggies, wow.
And a little bit of leftovers in the house.
Didn't seem to hurt you. You're still pretty tall there. So it didn't stunt your growth a bit, did it?
No.
But you got to look at all these different kinds of things.
I'll show them what's going on.
There's quite a bit.
Beautiful.
In here. So,
well, thank you, Dad.
Yeah, it helped control some of my buttercups. I don't really want buttercups, and they're not good for the cattle. And in other, I still have a few that have come in, but in here there were very, very few. In other areas, it'd be really, the pasture was kind of covered with those things. Yeah. And I think it's from overgrazing before we came. The family who had it before us probably overgrazed, and that lets those things in. But boy, here it's reduced the numbers by a significant amount.
And I bet if we did, if we rotated the cattle more, where there's
it would
different paddocks,
I tell you what,
it would eliminate that.
and chickens.
Yeah.
So for a few years, maybe a couple of years, we did chickens in the little short houses like Joel's house and those guys. We scooted around. Man, that is dynamite for your soil. Those chickens.
There's a noticeable difference from then to now, even of the pasture. Chickens.
Yeah. Anyway, the chickens were like dynamite for everything.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you, Dad, so much.
Yeah.
Awesome possum.
It's good. I'm enjoying watching the shows myself.
Hey.
I haven't missed one yet.
That's amazing.
I'm the most loyal fan out there.
It's an honor to be supported by your parents. I know not everybody gets that gift to be supported by their parents, but if you got supportive parents, I'm not crying, and that was just my throat. If you got supportive parents out there, then let's, as the kids, make sure and be grateful for them and bless them back.
Yes. Good job. Good job. Good job.
Wait, I feel like I'm taller than you right now.
I'm downhill.
It's downhill. You're not actually shorter.
Thank you for that. Thank you, son.
Yep. Exactly. Well, I'm going to show them what's growing here, and
yeah, this is good. It's
a beautiful morning with the fog.
This is amazing.
Wish y'all could see the mountain up there. It's kind of concealed.
It's so nice. The hunters are out today, I think, around.
Yeah.
Yep. What is this? What is it?
That is dandelion right there.
Dandelion. What's this?
And then we've got tall fescue.
Fescue.
And then I believe that's
Careful, let's go. Is it? Yeah.
Remember what that is.
We got a bunch of this.
Yeah.
And the cattle love it. And your fescue, which is a blade like
all
that.
kinds of clover. Clover's everywhere.
Tons of clover.
It's good to have. Oh, and here's the vetch right here. See this?
Yeah.
Hairy vetch,
up there,
which is a legume, so that's nice. We got clover and hairy vetch that are starting to change the soil back into some nitrogen for us.
Here's this is dock.
Yeah, we got all kinds of dock right here.
There's dock right there. That's good to eat, you know. You can eat that.
This is dock.
Especially in the spring, you can eat that.
Yep. And then, like you said, a little bit of buttercups here.
Yeah. They show up too bad. The cattle will eat them. They got some value, I'm sure. They're just probably tell you more about your soil than anything. Yeah. Lots of vetch. His vetches keep coming back.
I like seeing that.
I haven't touched this with fertilizer, lime, nothing. We don't do anything to this. It just grows and the cattle eat it and it just keeps growing. And it's thicker here than anywhere else. If we walk out through there, it's all right. Now I cut this down because it gets some of the things come up. We don't want it to go to seed. Some of the weeds that will come up. So I cut it a month or so ago, but it's grown since then, even though it's fall. But it's grown more here than anywhere else. I promise you, it's grown probably 3 inches more than anywhere else.
Is it grown?
Old pumpkins and shocks and hay and straw and that kind of stuff put on it. From about here down.
Yeah.
We got more.
You can tell it's pretty.
This is the best area down here, for sure.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's all pretty good.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
Sounds like we gotta go.
Gotta go.
All right, let me show them
Been
some B-roll stuff.
All right.
Pond is starting to grow back around. Hopefully it's going to start holding water better, and we hope to grow some plants around here, have some fish growing, eventually build a wall above there.
The line is from here through there. This is kind of the line. You can see that on this side, it's just it's about this deep.
Yeah.
It's very, very dense. Lots of grasses, and over here it thins out and it gets shorter. And the further away you get away from the edge of this, you see it's just almost nothing.
Yeah, you can see the difference.
Yeah, this is lush and green. We haven't touched. There's no difference as far as anything we've done to them. No, none at all.
It's crazy.
Anyway, this is great. This is leached over some. I think some of the nutrition is leached over. That's why on the edge it's not a hard line. It's kind of
starting
fuzzy.
to take ground actually.
It's really good. It makes a big difference. You can see it's thinner on this side of the pole than it is over there. Maybe you can't see in the camera. I don't know.
I think you can.
Out here you can.
I can.
You can see how deep that is. This is deep. It's that deep with grass right now in the fall.
And we cut it.
And we've cut it. And that over there is not even that deep.
Yeah.
So it's a huge difference.
Now we're walking off.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, you got the shoes. I didn't think. Oh, these are work shoes.
It's leather.
This is one of the best things I ever did. This is one of the best things I ever did was put in the blueberries.
Yeah.
Somebody gave me some. We just pulled them up by the roots, and I divided them. We had about 40 that I put out, and I think 28 lived the first 2 years. And they've just gone on, and now they're overgrown. You have to just, after so many years, they've been here about 16 years, 17 years, and prolific, I mean, abundant like crazy, like grapes and just clusters. And I trimmed them back last year, and we didn't trim them right, I don't think, but anyway, they've just taken off, and now they're all shooting straight up. So usually, they're not quite as tall, is this. I don't like so I can reach them, but blueberries is the way to go. I don't have to put anything on them but sawdust. I put raw sawdust on the base, and that's what I need to do to them to kind of do weed control as well. But they love the acidic levels that raw sawdust brings. Blueberries is the way to go. It's one of the best crops. I don't spray them. I don't do anything. We share them with the deer, the dogs, the birds, each other, the neighbors, and there's plenty. There's so many. I don't even harvest. I'm sure I don't even harvest 5% of what grows. The rest of it goes to other things that are on the ground, and I still have more than we can. We put up easily 20 gallons a year in our freezer. Our fresh blueberries.
Could do more, honestly.
Oh yeah, easy. It's just the time to pick them. It takes about an hour to pick a gallon. And so they're just so healthy.
So good.
Way to go.
Plus they're beautiful. I mean, look at that.
Yeah, they changed. You know, they're lime green in the spring, and then they turn to a darker green with little flowers on them later in the spring. Little bell type flowers are pretty. Then they become just a shrub kind of looking thing once they have the berries on them. And then in the fall, they turn red. Some of this you see on here is just some weeds that are out in the pasture, and they grow. We need to cut and trim them out, but they are beautiful. Now it's on fire and look how dark. So they're so pretty, and they'll stay this way pretty well till February. It's kind of red on them. They're really pretty. If it snows, they're beautiful against the snow.
It's good stuff.
Yep, and easy to propagate. You cut off a long branch, put it in the ground, keep it wet, cover it, keep it wet, and it'll sprout roots.
Even better is when they send out suckers.
Pull one of those up
from where the root is. Cut it out.
Here's one right here. I pulled that out of there.
And one let go.
There you go. There you go. If you put that out, it will sprout out of that knuckle. Probably some other places too. It'll put out little roots. Just bury that in the ground. I mean, I really butchered that one pulling it out, but if you bury that in the ground, then it'll start to grow, and it will make blueberries.